because I would assume it would be like, some like double baconator sort of sandwich. And it sounds like something we'd serve some over in Spokane. Because we got this thing called the yeah, everything does take freaking forever in C++. So let's see exactly what we got going on here. Oh, Fat Sack did it! He can climb. He can climb. All right, boom, bam. You see that? He got right up the top there. That's what we wanted to see. Oh, and he's going through. Oh, but he can't get right up over there. You see these traces here that we're trying? He can't get back up. Why can't he get back up? He can't get back up, and it looks like no, there's a reason for it. I really like this debugging stuff. I think what I probably should do is. So why? Because we got the yeah. It looks like his sweep is failing. That third sweep is failing because it's not high enough. Is what it looks like. I don't think it's because the collision box won't fit. Because let's just turn on show collision, and as you can see, his collision box is the same as these trace tags. And if you look real close here, you can see his body there is perfect. Like it's just 1 pixel or so. It's actually fitting in there properly, which is exactly what we want to have happen here. So now we just need to figure out why he can't get up. Why can't Fat Sack get up? And his collision box should fit. This is exactly one of the cases we need to fix. All right. So let's see. Which one of these things is failing? I'm trying to open up the logs right now, but Unreal has like this text box thing that just doesn't want to open. I'm printing out too much garbage. That's what's going on. All right, we're just gonna stop that. So what we're going to do is go back in. He's too low? No, he is most definitely not too low to mantle up. We've basically put him at, he can mantle 10 times his height. So, that's only like 1 or 2 times his height. So he should definitely be able to mantle onto that thing. Alright, so this is what's going on in the frame. The box bounds are here. We're going to start at this location. The direction is this. Sweep 1 start. Do we actually say where we fail? We have struck an object with our step 1 raycast. Something is seriously wrong. Let's see. We have the sweep. Sweep 1 impact. So we're looking for if we're impacting a sweep. So sweep 2 impact is showing an issue. Sweep 2 distance is 20. Sweep 2 impact is so sweep 1 worked is what it did. Sweep 1 is sweeping upwards. The gaps between his checks be too wide for the gap. Basically, the gaps for the checks they're not actually, like when I described it earlier, like there's he's mantling up, right? So what we're doing with these raycasts is we're actually going up by his height and then over and then down, and that's just to find the surface where he could possibly land. So the idea is if you only go by his height, there is no way that there is a gap in here that you skip which he could fit into, because if you're going by his height, then like you're always going to, find a hole if it was big enough, like kind of just by definition. If it's too small, like you might skip it or it might not exist. But if it's big enough, well, it's larger than he is tall, so you will find that gap. So, and then once we find that gap, we actually move Fat Sack up, into being able to be in that gap, and then we like sweep him into that thing. So I think we got that right. So it's sweep to impact is happening. Sweep to impact is sweep to impact is happening. That's what's going on. So we need to see exactly why sweep 2 is impacting. Sweep 2. So this is the sweep, and our direction is sweep 2 position, sweep 2 direction. Sweep 2 should be us. The direction is -1. So we are at this height, and then we're sweeping directly to the left. So, if we're a Fat Sack here, what's happening is we're sweeping to the left, and it looks like, like what we're doing is our box is not high enough. So like we've moved our we have not moved our box high enough for the sweep is what it looks like. The distance is fine. Sweep to impact is there. Yes, you can step through C++ and Unreal. We are not stepping through our C++ right here because it's development mode C++, so it's kind of a mix of release and debug, which means a whole hell of a lot of the code lies to us. And so we're just kind of printing a few things out. So sweep to impact. And if we weren't running in development, basically, it would be really a pain in the ass to actually run the game, because it run like a piece of garbage. Because without the development optimizations, then everything's going to take a long time to actually boot up and run and all that stuff. So I'm only going to switch to debug mode if I get super stuck and have absolutely no way in hell to figure out what the hell I'm doing. So sweep 2 is wrong. So sweep 2 is wrong because probably our distance is going to be incorrect. So like our starting distance for sweep 2 is not high enough. So where is our sweep position is going to be new position plus sweep 1 distance times perpendicular to collision to normal of collision. So that's going to be so that's fine. So sweep 1 distance isn't good enough. So our projection vector size is sweep 1 distance is 48.38. I mean, our step 1 distance is our step 1 distance is being set to 48.38, which is Fat Sack's height, which doesn't make sense to me. because it shouldn't be so exact. It should be something else, something other than this. Alright, sweep one distance is actually 58. Okay, so that's working properly. If sweep 2 starts, so sweep 1 start is 11974.68, and we're supposed to add 58.384. We should be at 12,033, and we're starting at 11,974. So our sweep 2 start location is wrong. So we should be using sweep 1 direction times sweep 1 distance. So sweep 2 position should be sweep 1 position plus sweep 1 distance times sweep 1 direction. Sweep 1 direction is 1 up. So it should have been, why was the start wrong? The distance vector, sweep 2 distance is 20. Sweep 2 direction is -1. No, go ahead and say whatever you want. Yeah, it should be, his height is 48, so you would expect 48, then like 90, and then things like that. But it shouldn't be 48 or 90, because like that would mean the gap is obviously not fat sack in height. It's higher. Anyway, I think we'll see if that was a difference here. The root is not at the floor. You mean like the start of the sweep or something? Or fat sack's not on the floor? Or it's probably mostly that it's going to be that distance. The sweep 1 distance is going to be wrong. So sweep 1 worked properly. Sweep 2 is not using the correct thing. Why not? Sweep 1 distance is the projection vector times. Well, that's probably it, isn't it? Because sweep 2 is the sweep 2 position should not be adding in the mantle float. It should just be This right here should not be mantle float. That's probably what's going on here. This should be something smaller than mantle float, because it's basically just trying to go above the thing it's on, so it should actually be tiny float. And that is what is going to be screwing up our stuff, because we're basically going 10. The mantle float was actually adding on to the movement and was basically shooting them in a little too high, I think. And the sweep to distance is going to be the thing that moves us to the left and to the right into the gap. So this should work. And the reason we made mantle float so big is because we could, blow up our math a little bit and see what happens with it. Because mantle float is actually like just with these sweeps is moving the thing farther than it should be moved. And of course, now we can't get up and over this thing. So just one step at a time. Just removing some stuff. It's making the logs go too slow. You give me shit for my programming gloves. Everybody does that. You think you're original? One decade. So sweep 2 again impacted something. Well, mantle Mantle 3 should have at least done something. So sweep 1 is going up by 145. Sweep 2 is starting. Yeah, look at this. Step 2 is fine. So sweep 1 starts here. Sweep 2's direction is in the positive Z. Sweep 1 is 111. Sweep 2 starts, like, look at this. Sweep 1 and sweep 2 are starting in the same place. That should not be what's going on here. Sweep 1 should be starting in a different place than sweep 2. Sweep 2 is sweep 1 position plus sweep, sweep 2 position is sweep 1 position plus sweep 1 distance times sweep 1 direction. Yeah, well, I wear fingerless gloves for programming because when I graduated from college, I couldn't get a job because I was, I hadn't had enough experience to get an entry level job, because you need entry level experience to get an entry level job. That whole thing. So for about 4 months, I was unemployed and had nothing to do except for play Star Trek Online because it had just come out. So I played Star Trek Online so much that like the heels of my hands were like wearing off. So I had to go buy gloves because I was playing so many MMOs that I was just wearing holes in my hands. And then now I just liked it so much that that's what I do now. Is I wear programming gloves. And then you can see where like the black has like slowly, it's working itself into the mouse pad. Oh yeah, and I am also blind because our sweep 1 start is not the same as our sweep 2 start, because as you can see, our Y is the same, which is what it's supposed to be because we're shooting straight up, and it's shooting straight up by 119, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. And then sweep 1 direction is in the right, and then when it comes down, but we're impacting something in the right when we're moving by 20. Let's take a look at that again. And the reason we're no longer able to get over this is because sweep 1 distance, sweep 1 being like going up top, is the projection vector perpendicular to normal collision. So this is sweep 2. Let's see, he is here. And when we sweep to the right, we're colliding. And we're colliding it just below him. So we need to move him a little bit farther up is what it looks like. Okay. So we need like a mantle float sweep 1 A mantle float vertical nudge. And we're going to nudge by, let's see, if we nudge by like 0.1 or something like that, maybe we can get away with that. Those are some nice gloves though, man. Where'd you get those? It's looking pretty amazing. You sweep up and down to make sure the collision fits, because we don't have to. The sweep inward should figure that out for us. So we shouldn't have to like shove the box in there and go. It should just sweep right in there, and then we just chunk it right on the ground. I've tried those like using workout gloves, but they're not supple enough. You know, they're too heavy. I don't like them. No, I hate those. Those are crap. The leather paw pads are just not. They're too heavy duty for my graceful hands, my special hands. No, I did get that a lot at like Amazon and EA and stuff like that. I'd walk into the elevator and I'd still have my gloves on because I'm a moron and I do that sort of shit. I just like wouldn't realize I still have my gloves on. And so like people would be like in the elevator, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, going to work out, huh? Yeah, cool. You lift, bro?" And I'm just like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I'm an engineer. I don't work out." Wait, is this? Can we not move because Fat Sack is blocking himself? Please tell me that's true. Yeah, sweep one start, sweep one impact, and that Fat Sack is totally denying Fat Sack from colliding. Nicely done. He's like, I can't get up. You motherfucker, get off of my shit. He's like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. And this is gonna crash again because Slate is trying to freak out about some resources. There we go. Thank you, Slate. You're a pal. Well, keep in mind we're blowing up all these collision tests, to make them real big so we can see exactly what's going on. But, none of that. You're not just going to immediately jump on top of a little platform like this in game. Not a chance. We can jump over ourselves. We can get in there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. We just jump right up into there. That's what we want to happen with the Fat Sack, man. So let's go running off into the Wild West here. Yeah, we're actually going to make a racing game. It's going to be Fat Sack Racer. Fat Sack will have some prowlies in there. Oh, what's going on here? So what is going on? Oh no, we're not able to move. So it looks like what's happened is Fatsack has embedded himself into the ground. Good job, Fatsack. Starting with manual attempt 1. The start direction is there. We have struck an object with our step 1 raycast. Our direction is negative in the Z direction? What the hell? Why is our step 1 direction negative? Probably because we're already embedded into the ground and everything is completely screwed. And that's why we're getting bad math here. So sweep 1 position plus sweep 1 direction times closest hit minus this. So no, it's this. This is what's going on, I'm pretty sure. Sweep 2 distance times sweep 2 direction. The mantle float here should be, we should be making this smaller. But it really shouldn't matter at the moment. Now the question is, what exactly is going on here? Because if we snap the floor and we do an overlap, our overlap hit an object, setting only to sweep position. What is this? Alright, well, go ahead. That is pretty funny. Alright, well, good. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to set a basic check at the end of this thing to see if we're overlapping anything. And we're just going to do that when we call update locomotion on ground. So let me just do a sanity check function on our movement object. Be like bool check if stuck. And that'll be our function. Because one of these things is basically sticking us into the ground, I'm pretty sure, and we just need to like do an overlap check after we've moved and then isolate. What's going on? The check if stuck, basically, we should never be in the ground. Our physics, like one of our guarantees that we're doing right now is like you should never, ever, ever be stuck in the ground. If you're stuck in the ground, we have absolutely no way to get you out. So we are going to check if stuck. So if check if stuck. Warn log. We are stuck and will never get unstuck. This is our life now. Done. Oh yeah, there's tons of comments like that everywhere. No, we're not actually stuck, huh? Alright then. So what the hell is going on here? Why are we mantling? So we're not stuck in the ground. So our movement distance, sub delta t. We're or sticky. Perpendicular to normal and collision. Alright, so what is the normal to the collision? The normal to the collision is -1 and 0. So we have collided, and we are colliding with something that's knows. So the normal to the collision is -1 in the y. So he's running into a vertical wall, and the perpendicular to this is going straight up. Well, let's see. Let's just throw a thing up here. Let's see. The sweep in the movement direction is going to hit here. Let's see if we got some information from the hits. That's not really giving us a whole hell of a lot. If the hit distance is greater than this, then we're returning that. Alright, that's correct. So the impact normal is this. So where are we in space at the moment? We're at 1458. Whoops. It's supposed to be 6762 and then 1458. Is completely wrong. Yeah, I screwed that up. Alright. Yeah, well, we just need to. I want to see exactly which actor that we actually are hitting here. That's giving us this thing. So it's going to be blocking hit dot actor. Is there like a get name? It's get f name. That should tell me what I'm actually running into. I think. Yeah, sweep test with movement collide with FATSEC 2. So it's floor 44. Yeah, alright, floor 44. So it is this floor. So we want to see exactly what that normal to the collision is. Movement, sweep, collision, normal is the impact normal. Alright. So we were getting some pretty bad math on some of these other things before, where the collision normals were wrong when we were on slopes that were greater than a certain amount. And that was real frustrating trying to figure out. And I thought we had fixed that with the rotation stuff. But let's go find out. So the normal to the collision is -1, 0. And we're colliding with floor 43. Perpendicular to the normal is straight up. So yeah, we're getting bad normals again. So this is a sweep test with movement. Right. So of course it's going to be screwed up because we are not getting the correct normals for our stuff. What is our movement direction vector? Our surface normal here is positive z when we are sweeping downwards. We are getting a surface normal of that, and then when we sweep in the z direction, that our movement direction vector is positive z. We're moving straight up. What the fuck? Alright, so we're starting here. We are sweeping down. We are getting a surface normal of... So the surface normal is positive 1, which is correct. And then we... our wanted velocity is 0. Well, this should be a less than or equal to. That's one thing that's messed up. Our velocity.y is 0, and our movement direction is straight up. Interesting. So alright. No, we're not rotating our collision to go up the hill. If we were, you would see that that box have changed on us. It wouldn't be a box, it'd be something else. So the surface normal is correct there for that guy, and we're moving in the y direction and a little bit up, which is correct. Our hit distance is, yeah, sweep test is colliding with that actor. Of course, it's not telling us jack about any of these things, is it? We have to go to our logs. So the normal to the collision is again -1 in the y direction, and the perpendicular to the normal is 1. So that's correct. So we are doing our math properly. We're just getting the normal is totally all sorts of screwed up. So I bet we are in the ground for our trace check. Something is putting us in the ground just like a little too far. So it's going to be like snap to floor. Because I bet basically if we put in another check here and like do another sweep, we take new position here. We're like just like f vector test pause equals new position test pause dot z plus equals point, like 0.0, like just 0.1 f, and we try to move that direction. We'll see. And I'm pretty sure this will show that we're in the ground. Even if the overlap test isn't working properly. Or maybe the overlap test is working properly, the sweep test might be might have a different level of precision than the overlap test.